Greetings, this is the Baron, and today I'm going to share with you the deck that I brought to the Eternal Central Old School Tournament at Gamestoria New York, hosted by Sisters of the Flame on February 16th, 2020. Enjoy. Alright, here's the deck that I brought to the tourney. I've got one Urborg, taps for black or removes Swamp Hook and first strike, 8 basic swamps, 5 basic islands, play set of Underground Seas, play set of Mishra's Factory, and there were 4 strip mines in this tournament, but then I changed it back to Atlantic from Eastern Central. So that's my land mana base. Then I rock in 1 Lotus, the 2 Moxes on color, and a Soul Ring. I play 1 Tormod's Crypt, which I find is definitely worth its spot. Eventually someone's going to target it when they want something in their graveyard, so it's a 1-for-1 right there, plus you're exiling everything else that's already in there. It holds back any wheels or time twisters until they do find that card to deal with it. And this deck is so heavy on discard that they're probably never going to get that card off. I've got 2 rituals coming down from 4 for this tournament because I just had to make room. 1 Ancestral Recall, 1 Recall, restricted in this format, and 1 Mind Twist, of course restricted. I've got some land hate, 4 sinkholes in addition to the 4 strip mines that I was running, 4 Hymnotorox, 2 flash counters. I play these just because it's easier to have that colorless mana over 2 blue for a straight counterspell, and maybe in the future I will actually upgrade that to mana draining counterspell, or maybe multiple counterspells, but for this build, my whole control plan, I'm mostly only worried about you taking out what I already have on the board. I've got 1 Time Walk, 1 Tutor, and 1 Brain Geyser, of course, for those 3. Running 4 Hippies, 2 Disrupting Scepters, and 3 Time Elementals. In my 4+ drops, I've got 3 Books, 3 Ices, 1 Disc, and a Demonic Hordes. And so the whole plan in this deck is control. I want to take out your lands, I want to take out the cards in your hand, I want to get my Time Element out, I want to protect him by making sure your hand is empty and holding my flash counters for when I need them also. I want to smack you down with Hippies, and once I have total control, I can start bringing my factories in. I know you're not going to plow them or disenchant them because you should have no cards in hand if this deck is doing what it's supposed to be doing here. I've got my books to get my extra card advantage when I need it, and that's basically the whole gist of the deck. Now, sometimes there's better than others. I really have high hopes for this. I know I have some, tweaking to go to really make this what I want it to be. Like I said, maybe putting a real counterspell, maybe splashing white, getting plows and disenchants, because one of my greatest weaknesses is taking permanents off their field. All I really have to do that is this Time Elemental and the Disc. Now, granted, lands I can take care of pretty well. I've got my strips, I got my sinkholes, and I even have that Demonic Hordes in there. But once you get like a creature in play, it could be anything. It could be a Gozban Ogre. If I don't have my factories have to deal with that Ogre is going to mess my stuff up here. Now, if you get a flyer out, let's say, even a 2/2, or if you get a Rook Egg out and manage to sack it with a Diamond Valley or something, if you end up with a 4/4 flyer in the field, I don't have a lot I can do unless I'm getting that Disc or Time Elemental working. So that's definitely my biggest weak spot, but the whole plan is to come in fast, come in aggressive, and make sure you never are able to get that far along. So that's basically the nutshell of the whole deck. That's the whole plan I'm going for. If you've got any suggestions, please let me know. I'm going to go over to sideboard real quick here. I've got 2 Energy Flux to deal with those artifact-heavy decks, to take out even mana artifacts, mana rocks, soul rings, Felwar stones, and moxes. And then I've got the 1 Relic Barrier for those Winter Orb decks or Howling Mine decks, just to be able to turn off something if I need to. 3 Glooms, just because white is my biggest weakness. White does the most damage to me with the plows and disenchants. I'm only running 2 counterspells, so, and if I can keep your lands and your mana off, the Gloom will do the job, and you'll never cast a white spell. 3 Black Knights, against, again, if you're running plows, if you're running, like, against the deck, for instance, Black Knights are hard to deal with, and I can get some quick aggression in and get my damage up. I've got 2 Blue Blasts just to stop those, you know, kill you with an Earthquake or kill you with a Fireball decks. 1 Death Grip just to counter green spells, and not sure how often that will get used, but, you know, if you're playing Urnums and whatnot, I can stop it if I get that in my deck. 2 Paralyze, which is a great card in this deck, because, again, I should be keeping your land base down and hurting your mana. So paying that 4 should be very difficult for you if I'm doing my job right. Now, where that comes in, where it hurts me, is if you're playing like a White Weenie or something like that, or just a white deck, and you're playing all those White Knights and Order of Lepiers, and you have that 1 Serra Angel. Well, I'm gonna want that Paralyze or that Terror for the Angel, but everything else in your deck is immune to black, so maybe I need some better card there also. Again, if you got suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Well, this is what I brought to the table, and this is, I already released the first video of me playing this deck in the tournament. There are 3 more scheduled. Again, my videos come out every Friday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you like what you see, you like what I'm pumping out here, please remember to like and subscribe, and if you want to show me some extra love, come visit me on my Patreon. This is Baron Nick, and I'm done here.